Hey guys, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be looking at a scenario where Italy forms an empire in the year 2025. Italy is the 10th strongest nation, and if they wanted to, could probably become around the 6th or 7th, no pun intended, strongest nation in the world, and the hegemon of the Mediterranean Sea. And this Italian empire's first, client is going to be Slovenia. Slovenia is a weak nation in the Mediterranean, which you probably already know. And it is weak, and so we're just going to see them absolutely steamroll the nation. And in the treaty, we will see. Yeah, it's full annexation. What more did you want? Um, San Marino will get forcefully annexed, and so will the Vatican. And now they have strong neighbors all around. So, except for these two, which they're probably going to invade soon. But how about we hop over the pond a bit into Spain? They're currently going through a bit of trouble, you can call it. Spain is in a full-blown civil war. We see Basque, Galicia, Catalonia all wanting independence. We see extremists in the south. We see socialists up here, and we see the normal Spanish government over here. And well, with all this chaos, Spain is actually going to just allow the Blasier era, I don't know how to pronounce it, islands go over to Italy. Next, Italy's looking for another land to buy. And what's happening in France? Corsica just got independence? Oh yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. As the Corsicans will get invaded by the Italians. And already we see Italy becoming a Mediterranean powerhouse. Well, why don't they interfere in the Spanish Civil War? As Spain is still currently in a lot of chaos here, they're just going to hop across the pond and they're going to start invading the socialist rebels. And the socialist rebels are not really going to be able to put too much of a fight. So the extremists were not expecting an invasion from the Mediterranean, and they will be kind of forced back to the Gibraltar area. But these extremist Marxists and the socialists will all team up, and they're going to start to get a lot of ground in the civil war. As they're now starting to threaten Madrid, they realize that they cannot go into direct Spanish-controlled territory, as that would probably cause the world to get really mad at them. But they can go in other people's territory, and Spain will officially sign a treaty with one of the nations. Yes, Catalonia gained independence officially. And well, in the Civil War, the Spanish government is going to collapse. As the city of Madrid will be taken, they will beg the Italians to let them join them. And with the help of the Italians, the Spanish, or the old Spanish government, thinks that, maybe they're going to become allied or regain control of Spain. But that won't really happen. As the Marxists and the the Marxists, sorry, not the Leninists, are going to take out Galicia and the Basque country, and now it looks like a civil war, just a two-sided civil war, as the Italian government doesn't have a lot of support in the nation. It's going to start to get a drawn-out war, and this is something what it will look like before they will sign a treaty. And, this is kind of the treaty. Italy gets to take the south of Spain. And, Italy's now probably the fifth strongest nation in the world. And so they're going to buy a bit of land from Croatia. They're going to buy this island, as it is not as important as Croatia, and the world is now going into a recession. No, Romanian will not get taken over by Italy. And the Italians are going to declare war on not Greece. No. Greece would probably stalemate them in a war. 5 independent Balkan nations. And the reason they're going to declare independence declare war, is land. They have officially decided that they are going to try to reform at least some form of the Roman Empire. And this is how they're going to do it. And these nations were not expecting a Italian force to randomly just pop on their land. Especially the Albanians, as the Albanians were on Site 1. Later, the Montenegrins will get invaded, and so will the Bosnians. It's going to be hard with all the landmines. But, yeah. North Macedonia is actually going to put up a really good fight, but eventually the Albanian region is going to fall, as the North Macedonians are going to have to start to pull all their reserves to actually fight for their capital. But across here, the Croatians will actually surrender. Soon it's just the Serbs who are still fighting in this drawn-out war. And, yeah, now it's just North Macedonia. They're going to surrender, and let's look at the treaty of the Fourth Balkan War, or something like that. And they will, no, they won't get they'll have all of this land now under their control. And the Croatians, they're realizing they're going to be the next target, and so they'll join under one condition, that they get autonomy. And the Dalmatian state, or province, will get autonomy for 45 years. This is a lot better than what would happen if they got invaded. And now Italy is shopping for places to invade. And well, we're going to call this the second Italian invasions. They're going to invade these two unaligned nations, which people don't really care about. Tunisia, which is a bit surprising. And these two nations. JK, it's these other three. And, the Italians, this may be a bit more than what they can chew, but they should be fine, as there's no way they can get to their mainland. Yeah, and the Italians, they're just going to be able to steamroll across southern Austria, as Austria is weak. But they're going to get allies in Germany. The Netherlands, oh no, not the entire borders. The Netherlands, Slovakia, Czechia, and Hungary. They will all join to help Austria. But the Spanish forces, who are now in the Spanish-Italian Union, that's what it's officially called now, are just going to storm up through here, taking out Catalonia, as Spain's goal is to now, or Spain's mission is to now take out Tunisia. Tunisia. I don't know how to. My English sucks. But they're going to easily take the city of Tunis, as the rest of North Africa will form a defensive pact, except for Morocco, as they don't like their frenemies, really. And they're going to actually do some guerrilla warfare in the desert, and even a counteroffensive here, pushing them back, as the Spanish are heavily under-equipped. But with 90% of their population being under control, they're going to just go for a bit. And they're going to start their invasion of Lebanon. They will sign an alliance with Israel, or whatever nation you think this is. They're going to dart across here, taking Damascus, and Syria is going to surrender, and the Kurds will be promised autonomy, which the other nations don't like, but the Kurds will gladly start to fight for them. And so will ethnic suppressed groups who are going to be promised freedom, are going to join on in this war, as Baghdad will fall. This is more like the Second Iraqi Civil War, or I think there's been one, and Iraq will officially surrender. Now it's just Tunisia, yes, and they will actually sign a treaty where they will actually get untouched in the war, except for maybe a few border territories. And now the Italians are having to make a line of defense, as they're going to push into you a bit, taking Vienna. They're going to split them into two, and Hungary, they're going to be promised not full annexation, as the war is now going to start to drag on. And we're actually going to continue this war in a bit, as let's look at the treaty which will be signed with all nations, except for the Netherlands, who will forget to come. As we now see the Treaty of Berlin, and this is the new Mediterranean Europe. Tunisia. Oh my gosh. Tunisia, yes, they're only going to lose the northern bit. Catalonia fully annexed. You three, surprisingly, will be fully annexed. Austria will, and you two will become a puppet. We're going to have one last war, and it is the coalition. All of these nations will join a coalition against the Italians. But the Italians will get a few allies that will help them in this war. And those allies are Iran, which I'm going to give allies a darker color. Greece will be an ally for them. Romania, Poland, and surprisingly, the UK. And we can get to the Battle of the Coalition. This will be a pretty long war, as let's start with the invasion. Immediately, and this isn't a coalition, this is what Italy will declare war on France, and then all these nations will join soon after. So at least in France, they're immediately going to have an advantage, with France pulling some troops back, but this is when the British will join, or the war, and they're going to make a landing in Normandy, and they're going to start to go up in the north of France, Brittany, and they're also going to make a landing in Aquitaine, as the French were severely underprepared for this war, as they're going to continue to just march up this French territory. France will finally get their pants together, and they will officially look like about this before a stalemate is starting to be reached. Luckily, Paris is fine, but no other cities are. Berlin. Yeah, what about Berlin? It's going to be captured, actually. And the Germans, after an invasion of Munich, or Bavaria, I should say, it's not looking good for them, as they're going to lose Saxony. And the British Navy, I'm just going to overestimate here, and they're going to be able to make a landing across Hanover, as both of these powers are going to start to be backed into a corner. Germany and France are going to look for a way to try to win the war, but no nations will answer their cry for help. But we're actually going to see in Turkey, Greece is going to get pretty smacked around, like Athens, and Peloponnnesia is going to fall. The stalemate will be reached about here, with the Italians starting to storm in, at least some troops over here. In France, or at least Germany. They're going to fall first, and then somehow, yeah, France is just going to fall. And now we have, I guess you can call it the Islamic world against Turkey, or against, Italy. And with all these nations against, Turkey, and mainly, yeah, Turkey is going to be the one to be most affected here. The Kurds are going to rise up. They're going to reach the Black Sea, as, yeah, this is going to be about a stalemate till here, as they're going to focus on other lands, like retaking Greece. They're going to retake Peloponnnesia and Athens fairly quickly. And, yeah, we're going to see Spanish troops do really well in Morocco and all that, and, Algeria. As this army is really OP because you have Britain, Poland, Romania, and Greece. Britain is mainly helping out here, so is Spain. And Spain against Morocco, it's pretty easy. But Morocco's going to start to push back a good amount here, as they're actually going to retake this, as they're preparing for a landing to be made on mainland Europe. But they're not really going to care too much about their somehow ally. Tripoli's going to be captured, and then, yeah, you're kind of cooked, Libya. As the invasion force from you will take Constantinople and other regions. Italy, or not, Turkey's going to be backed into the Black Sea, where they will surrender, and we will soon see you two surrender. As Greece, all of Greece's, or I'm in Egypt. Egypt is going to start to be invaded, as the government basically collapsed after they saw how many troops were storming in. And Morocco will realize they're going to be cooked. And so Morocco is going to do what no nation has ever done to the Romans. And that is do their own landing. They're going to land in the south and take all of this. This gives them a good bargaining chip for the treaty. This war was fairly quick, but one side kind of had a really big advantage. And this is the treaty or the war. This is kind of what the empire looks like. And it looks weirder than, I would expect from starting this video. And, yeah, in the treaty, this all goes to Britain here. They also get Hanover. We see West and East Germany. Poland just kind of wanted some more coastline. And for the main stuff, Morocco actually gets southern Spain. They lose this territory, though. And these nations are now basically, dead. And so they're probably going to join Tunisia in the future. Greece will get all of this. And, Anatolia will be allowed to survive here. But they have to change their name to Asia Minor. Gaul will get, annexed. Got to do that little, thing. This tree took me like 10 minutes. Was kind of on a time crunch. And, yeah, let's look at the Roman provinces now. Or the Italian and Spanish Union.